In the gospel text of today, Jesus gives very, very practical advice, but advice that is not easy to follow, that is challenging to follow. He begins by telling us that we must love our enemies. How is it possible to love your enemy? It's so easy to love a family member, to love a friend, to love even an acquaintance, to love a stranger. But to love my enemy, impossible. And Jesus says, no, it is possible. Because all the other kinds of loves that you usually do are done by anyone. You don't need to be a disciple of Jesus. You don't need to be a Christian. You don't need to be a human being to love that, because in barter exchange, everything is accepted. Most of our relationships are built on barter exchange. You are good to me, I am good to you. You do me a favor, I do you a favor in return. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. In today's gospel, Jesus is asking to do a favor with no expectation whatever, to reach out to those who have insulted you, even if for some reason you believe that you cannot reach out to them because they will continue to be belligerent, because they will continue to be obnoxious. Then I would say to you, through the words of Jesus, that you must not harbor any resentment against them, not harbor any ill feelings towards them, not harbor any anger towards them, because resentment, ill feelings, and anger will not affect the person against whom you have them, but will affect your own heart, will affect your own inner being, will affect your peace of mind. So it's very practical advice which Jesus gives, not to harbor ill feelings. If one cannot reach out to the enemy, if one cannot make amends with the enemy, then avoid ill feelings. Jesus goes on to tell us that we have to be compassionate. Compassion, empathy are words which are beautiful to hear, but not very are compassionate. Most of us prefer to ignore. Most of us prefer to turn a blind eye. Most of us prefer to look the other way. And Jesus says, no. This world, the people who live in, are your brothers and sisters. And that is why you must look at everyone with compassion, with empathy, and with love. And finally, Jesus gives advice which we are so often guilty of when he tells us not to judge. If we do not judge, there is no need for us to make wrong assumptions, because more often than not, our judgment is based only on the externals. I see something and it seems this way to me, so I make a judgment about it, maybe in my mind and sometimes through my words. In the gospel text of today, Jesus says, you and I do not know the whole reality. You and I do not know the reason why a person behaves as he or she does. And that is why our job is to avoid making any kind of judgment whatever. Our job is to ask God for wisdom, for grace to accept and to be at peace. How often has your judgment about others resulted in demeaning them? How often have you judged only from externals? How often have you been too quick to judge? Will you refrain from judging anyone today?